The lead masks mystery, a haunting case that still has no answers. On August 20th, 1966, the sun began setting over the hills of Niterói, Brazil. Below, the city hummed with its usual rhythm, vendors closing stalls, buses rolling to their final stops. Unaware that something deeply strange had already taken place on a quiet hilltop known as Morro do Vintém. High up the slope, two bodies lay side by side in the grass. Both men wore neatly pressed suits. Over their eyes rested smooth, hand-cut plates of lead, shaped like crude sunglasses. No sign of a struggle. No footprints revealing a hurried escape. No weapons. Only silence. For hours, no one approached them. Locals who glimpsed the strange shapes from a distance decided not to investigate. Something about the scene already felt wrong, and it was only the beginning. When officers finally reached the bodies, the peculiarity became undeniable. Both men carried raincoats despite the dry weather. Both had identical plastic bags containing water bottles. And inside one man's pocket rested a torn sheet of paper, written in hurried handwriting. 1630, be at the determined location. 1830, ingest capsules. After effect protect metals, await signal. No capsules were found. No signs of poisoning on the ground. No signal ever came. The men were later identified as Manuel Pereira de Cruz and Miguel Jose Viano, two electronic technicians from a nearby town. They had left home on what they claimed was a business trip. Instead, their trip ended here, under circumstances that made no sense. Witness accounts slowly pieced together a timeline. The men bought the lead sheets days earlier. They cut the masks themselves. They bought water bottles from a local bar. They asked for the receipt, something people rarely did. Nothing they purchased suggested violence or desperation. It suggested planning, a ritual, a procedure. On the bus ride to the hill, they seemed calm, focused, as if following instructions neither questioned. By the time their families realized they were missing, the men had already been lying on the hillside for days, untouched by wildlife, undisturbed by weather. The note in their pocket was the key, but it opened more doors than it closed. Lead masks are not typical for any known ritual, religious, or scientific, but they are common for one purpose: protection from radiation, or blinding light, or both. Lead masks historically appear in technicians dealing with welding arcs, experiments involving intense electrical discharge, early atomic research, amateur radio projects pushing dangerous voltages, and UFO contact rituals. The masks were cut with precision, not random, not improvised. They were meant for something specific. But what? Investigators eventually discovered that the two technicians were part of a small, quiet circle of experimental radio enthusiasts. The group believed they could establish contact not just with distant radio operators, but with higher entities. Friends recounted nights where strange luminous objects were claimed to appear in the sky during experiments. According to one acquaintance, the men believed that a successful contact required a combination of a precise location, a predetermined hour, ingestion of purified substances, and protection from radiant light. It sounded absurd, yet their preparations matched the belief perfectly. The note: ingest capsules, the water bottles to help swallow them, the masks to protect their eyes, the location, a hill with a clear view of the sky. But nothing in the scene confirmed the ritual had succeeded, only that it had happened. Autopsy attempts brought no clarity. Brazilian authorities lacked equipment to test for advanced toxins. Bodies had already begun decomposing in the summer heat. The cause of death remained unknown. No trauma, no gunshot, no struggle. Just two healthy men who somehow stopped. Theories began multiplying, but none explained the masks. None explained the note. None explained why both men followed the same instructions without hesitation. Some experts propose a technical explanation. The men might have attempted a high-frequency radio experiment using intense electromagnetic discharge, homemade capacitors, or improvised high-voltage coils. Such devices can generate temporary blindness, retinal burns, arc flashes, electromagnetic radiation. Lead masks might provide crude protection. Capsules could be stimulants to enhance focus. Awaiting a signal could refer to a radio frequency event. But if that were the case, where was the equipment? Why was no device ever found on the hill? Why did they bring no tools, no wiring, no batteries? The hill was spotless, as if someone had removed everything, or as if the experiment required nothing physical at all. This theory grew from the group's strange beliefs. According to friends, the men were convinced that entities communicated through radiant phenomena. If the ritual succeeded, the contact would manifest as a blinding flash of light, powerful enough to damage unprotected eyes. Lead masks solved that problem. But what about the capsules? Some believers in the circle spoke about purification substances, often hallucinogens or industrial chemicals mislabeled as vitamins. If the capsules contained something volatile, the men might have been poisoned without realizing it. Yet again, no residue, no packaging, nothing left behind. As at the moment they ingested the capsules, the surrounding world continued without them. There is one possibility that investigators never included in official reports. The men might have expected to survive. The masks were carefully crafted. The note was organized. The location chosen weeks in advance. Everything suggested a plan for a later phase, a signal they expected to receive. But whatever they waited for never arrived, or arrived differently than expected, or arrived and left nothing behind. Their bodies were found peacefully lying on the ground, legs stretched out, hands by their sides, as if they had simply reclined and never stood up again. It is a tranquility that disturbs investigators even today. Not panic, not pain, just calm acceptance, as if they were waiting for something beyond comprehension. Today, the hill of Morro do Vintém is quiet. No markers remain. The grass has grown over the exact spot. The note remains unsolved. The masks remain unexplained. The capsules remain unidentified. Decades later, there is still no official cause of death. No criminals. No practical motive. Only two men who climbed a hill to meet something, or someone that never arrived. Or perhaps it did. And what happened next was never meant for human understanding. The lead mask's mystery remains one of the most haunting unsolved cases in modern history. Not because of what was found, but because of what was missing.